Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Quest Markers. On this show, we talk about video games and the people behind them. I'm Brina. I make music and sounds for games, and today I am so excited to have Abigail Carey with us. Abigail is an actor who has portrayed characters in the likes of hack and slash game Morbid Metal and the upcoming survival horror game Liminal Point. Today, we'll be talking about what it's like being a voice actor for video games and Abigail's journey. And this episode will be timestamped with the topics we cover, so feel free to jump around if you're watching the recording. And I'm so excited for today's conversation. And as always, before we dive into your introduction, Abigail, how are you staying hydrated?
Well, as any good voice actor does, I do have my trusty water bottle here, filled up. And since we are talking about video games today, I would be remiss if I did not bring along my dearest friend, Leon Kennedy.
So
where's
good.
everyone going? Bingo. This is, so we got water, and I have a special, let's see. This one is honey, lemon, and cinnamon tea.
Ooh. So my voice coach would be very, very happy if I were to drink stuff like that instead of coffee before singing. Coffee with milk.
To be good.
Ooh, yeah,
that'll
not good.
Do it.
Soy milk, but still.
Okay. Better. Mm-hmm,
yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, you get a little, you get a little phlegmy.
A little phlegmy. Mm-hmm.
Little phlegmy, you get it. Nobody gets it when I say this. They're like, I don't get it. You get it.
I get it. I literally greatest fear. I'm like chugging, tea and Mm-hmm.
So good. Similar to you, I do have water. I have electrolytes, but I know I say this every time. I will just be reaching for my coffee.
Yes, nice.
And I think that's okay. I'm not ashamed of that.
I wanted to bring coffee in because I just that's my drink. It's in my veins by this point. But yeah, it's later here, and I'm trying to be good.
That is fair.
So tea it is.
Tea it is. Before we get into your journey into voice acting, your journey into game development, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. As you all know by now, my name is Abigail Carey, and I'm an actor and a voice actor that has worked a lot in video games. So stuff like Megarashi, Morbid Metal, Marvel Move. And yeah, I'm a STEM girly turned actor and just general creative. Love to play a good TTRPG. Love playing video games. I also love to write, do a lot of writing. And art, and just, I dabble in everything. Master of none, but I do love to do a little bit of everything.
I love that.
I don't know what else to say about me.
No, but I think that's such a great intro because similar to you, like I like dabbling in things that are not really a part of my discipline, and it helps me recharge.
Yeah.
In like a big way. Like I haven't done it in a while, but I really enjoy just like sketching or like illustrating on my iPad. I would never consider doing it professionally by any means, but it just keeps me inspired.
That's the joy of being human, right? Is
That's
being
it.
able to just do anything.
That's it.
Creative like that.
That's it. Love it. Let's dive in. Abigail, tell us about how you got into acting. What was that journey like?
Yeah, so my journey, I think that a lot of people can relate to my beginnings. I've been acting since I was a kid. I did a lot in theater growing up. I just was doing that. It was my dream, I think, ever since I watched The Lord of the Rings when I was like 5. Probably shouldn't have watched it at that age because I had nightmares, of course, after that. But I was like, man, I want to be an actor. I want to be in movies. And I continued to do acting and theater growing up, but then it was like high school time. I just got this silly idea in my head that I was like, I should do something, sensible and like go for like a science kind of degree. So I kind of left acting behind. At least I just didn't do it as much. And I went and got my pre-med degree, my biology degree at college, graduated with that. I joined the workforce and immediately burnt out. And I really needed to recharge my creative soul. And so that was around 2020. And big things happened in 2020. So the pandemic brought me back home, and I had like an opportunity to really reevaluate what I was doing and experiment with doing things that I used to love. So I think it was yeah, I got back into acting classes. My intention was to go into on camera and film acting. But I'm from a rural area in the South. And so there's just not that many on film camera opportunities. And so, but also still dealing with the effects of the pandemic. Um, and so I turned to voiceover and found a voice acting audition. And I wanted the opportunity to practice auditions because I was like, I need to get good at getting rejected. This is like a huge part of the job. So I'm just going to audition and just get rejected. But I ended up getting the job. So that's good. And then I just never looked back. And I've been doing it ever since. Here we are.
Wait, that's so
Yeah.
cool. We have very similar journeys.
Really?
I didn't do pre-med. I just want to make that clear. Um, but yeah, 2020 was a big kind of think about what I'm doing with my
Yeah.
life moment. Certainly. So that's so cool. Also love the like get good at getting rejected philosophy
Yeah.
as well, because that going into any sort of creative field, I think maybe that's too broad, but I assumed I'm like, yeah, I also need to get really good at getting rejected because I freelance full
Yeah.
time and rejection is a huge part of that. So I think that's a really important muscle to build. But you landed your first
Absolutely.
audition.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, literally.
Hell yeah.
It was a crazy. That was probably my that might have been my most insane audition process too, because that one we had the initial auditions. It was a three-stage kind of thing, and I normally most things happen like just one stage and they'll cast you. Sometimes you'll have a callback, but this was like three stages. So we had the initial audition, we had the callback, and then we had a chem read, and so it was just like man, I had such bad performance anxiety. I still struggle with that. And so doing that, all that was intense. But yeah, very thankful to have gotten it because it's brought me here.
That's so cool. Um,
Yeah.
so first audition, you land it. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's some good momentum and like also good for the spirit too. Was that a
Yeah.
video game project or how did you get
No.
into games?
How did I get into games? So that project was actually maybe I can go into a little bit more detail of how exactly I got into voice acting and I'll go over to the video game thing. But I really made the decision to pursue acting based off watching like a behind the scenes video of The Mandalorian. And I was like watching all these people on set and I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to be able to collaborate on creative projects like that and work on films and work on like anything like that in the creative field. And so I was super into Star Wars too, because that in 2020 is when I started watching the Clone Wars for the first time. I love that show so much. And that was, I don't know why, but I just never thought about voice acting as like a huge genre of acting, you know? And so I don't know why I didn't think of that. But, you know, getting in 2020, that's that obsession and like YouTube recommended a like Star Wars fan project was what it was. And so it was like an animated series that I first auditioned for. And that one didn't end up going anywhere, unfortunately and very sadly. But how did I get into games? I grew up playing video games with my brothers. And I love, especially in more recent, they have such grounded emotional performances and such good storytelling, that interactive storytelling. And so that was something that I really wanted to pursue. You know, you really have so many paths in voiceover that you can do, like commercial, animation, video games, and like, you know, you want to be able to do all of them. But if you're wanting to move forward in one, you know, focus on that. Um, so I just started doing it. I feel like that's such a lame answer, but I just started doing it, and that's just been kind of my thing is just getting into video games and those stories.
I love
I feel
that.
like that was a really long answer.
No, not at all. I feel like a lot of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like a lot of it has just been following the fun of like what do I
Yeah,
enjoy? Like what are things that I enjoy doing in my spare time? How can I translate that into just doing more of that in my professional work?
exactly.
Um,
Hmm.
it's so funny you mention watching behind the scenes videos because that's how I got into music production. Like I remember being a kid and like, the B-sides of CDs would sometimes be videos of like
Yeah.
behind the
Oh my
scenes and how they
gosh.
made this album. I was
Mm-hmm.
obsessed, like deeply obsessed with watching behind the scenes videos of how stuff
I
was
love
made
it.
because you see people having so much fun and like throwing ideas
Yeah.
around and being like, this works, this doesn't, like, let's try this, let's experiment. And like obsessed as a kid watching videos like that.
Oh
And
my gosh, yeah.
genuinely like that is the one thing that got me to pick up music production software eventually.
That's
Um
awesome.
that's so funny. That's like the same
Yeah.
same
I know.
story.
Can we
I think
bring
stuff
that
like that is
back?
powerful. Yes, yeah, genuinely.
That's
Like
the loss of physical media. We
I
don't get
agree.
those like
Yeah.
special features and
Yeah,
stuff.
100%. I love stuff like that. I guess like
I do.
vlogs are kind of the new that, but there's something special where it's like
Something special.
produced and it's an hour long
Mm-hmm.
and there's
It's a part of the
interviews, but
craftsmanship.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Love it. Love it.
That's up to you
Um
and me. We're gonna bring
yeah,
back.
that's it. We're gonna single-handedly it's gonna be great. That's so cool. What a cool path of like following the things that you enjoy. So maybe on that
Mhm.
train of thought, what kinds of characters do you most enjoy portraying?
Yeah, man. So I think this is a question that like the answer would change over the course of my career, but right now, characters I really love portraying are ones that are more like bubbly or like have a really wide emotional range or just more like loud performances because I play a lot of villains, and the really awesome and cool thing about villains is they're so like contained, and that's their powers. They're so confident and they're quiet. It's quiet power. But man, so whenever I get the opportunity to do like a bubbly character and break out of that, it's really exciting and really fun. I think also, I mean, beyond that, a wide range of like character arcs in that. So like, you have the bubbly characters, but I love angst still. So a bubbly character that is hiding behind the bubbliness of their trauma, and all that stuff. Yeah,
Complexity, it sounds like, is
yeah,
important. Like
yeah.
being able
I love a good
to dive
character
in.
arc.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say that villains are contained because I think personally the most interesting villains are the ones that are contained, that are holding themselves back,
Mm-hmm.
that are strategizing and thinking 10 steps ahead. And
It's really, yeah.
yeah,
I
villains are fascinating
agree.
to me.
I I love villains. That's why I play villains. The voice helps too. But yeah, no, yeah, just that quiet containment and confidence. It's really fun to dive into that. But I do get to play it a lot, so it's always fun
Mm.
to break out of it.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Mhm.
You have also done voice acting for TV. You've also done voice acting for podcasts. How is it different voice acting for video games? And I think you kind of touched on it in terms of kind of the interactability of the medium.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose like the genre is obviously different, but I mean, specifically for podcasts, that's probably the most different from animation and interactive. Like podcast, you're improving this stuff, and so that's the skill that you're going to rely on. And so there's that. Yeah, so between video games and animation, I mean, you do have that interactive element, but I mean, the preparation and the actual execution of it is not that different. I mean, you're still doing character work, and so you're still building characters in the same way. Um, the recording process might be a little bit different in the way you get your scripts. Like specifically for video games, a lot of times we'll get like an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll have the lines like going down, and they're a lot shorter. But with animation, you obviously get like the whole script and like the dialogue between all the characters. Um, yeah, so I think that would be the biggest difference, but not a huge difference in preparation or anything like that.
That's interesting. I have voice directed in the past, and yeah, I
Mm.
didn't even think about like, yeah, Excel spread, like put it in a spreadsheet. It's just in a spreadsheet. It didn't even occur to me that like actually sometimes actors get a script.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The Excel
That's funny.
spreadsheet's like awesome. I mean, it's great because you can, you put like the script or like the line number, the actual line, which take. It's a great Excel spreadsheets, guys. It's
I,
awesome.
I love me a spreadsheet. These are such great segues into my next question, because my next question was going to be, how do you prepare
Spreadsheets, we're
for
going to
a
talk about.
role? We're talking about spreadsheets. All right, everybody. We said we're talking about voice acting. We're talking about spreadsheets. Sheets 101.
Uh,
How do you prepare for a role? Because I feel like folks who are outside of the voice acting world will hear about, preparing or doing character work. What does that actually mean? And to you, how do you prepare and how do you dissect a character before getting into the booth?
yeah. Yeah, I guess this really does tie into the last question. It does depend on the genre. Um, like, especially for video games, like you have such a, well, I guess it's not especially for video games, but in video games specifically, you have a wide, like, you have your really grounded, realistic ones, you have your more elevated, more anime, you have like just a range of stuff. And so knowing what kind of project you're doing is going to, decide how you're prepping. So the way I'll do it is, yeah, if I know that, then I go and I study the performances in that and any like other games that have that type of acting. So study those performances. If there's any like previous source material, if like I'm becoming a part of another IP or yeah, what else do I do? I do like I do a lot of character journaling as well, trying to dive in.
Mm,
I ask myself kind of the questions like, what is this character's goal? Um, what do they want? What do they fear? Like, what are they willing to do to get what they want? Um, and just, yeah, digging into the emotional range that comes with that. Are they trying to hide anything? It's just examining the character. Yeah.
that's interesting. How much purview do you usually get into an entire narrative? And I feel like it's a
Mm-hmm.
nuanced question because it depends on whether you're in a leading
Yeah.
role or a supporting role. It depends on kind of how tight the NDA is for a particular IP. It depends on the type of project. It depends on the team, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, how much purview do you usually get?
I mean, just in terms of like how much purview do we get? Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends on the NDA, the size of the project. On a lot of your smaller, like indie projects, it's really great because it feels very collaborative because they give you a little bit more of the story and they want like your interaction with it. And yeah, it's like just like a really cool small team. But yeah, the bigger it gets, um, the less you know. I've been in some projects where I get the lines, I get the character, and that's it. So I don't really know anything until it comes out, honestly.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, what's it like being in the booth? Besides, I'm sure it gets extremely
Hot.
warm.
Do you all see me melting? I've slowly melted over the course of this episode.
But yeah, tell us what it's like, because I would imagine, putting myself in your shoes, that it's quite intimate. Performing in, I mean, obviously, yes, you're at a small space, but also like you're
Yeah.
so focused on delivering a very particular performance.
Yeah, being in the booth, yep, hot for one. I have multiple fans. I have my small fan and I have my big fan. So I'll use that whenever I need it. But yeah, being in the booth, it's really interesting. I mean, you are stepping, I mean, this is in my house, right? This booth is in my closet. So you're stepping into a professional workspace and into another creative world. And so trying to get into the mindset of that, um, sometimes it can be more challenging the more you have on your mind. But yeah, so you step into this professional space. And yeah, it is intimate. I mean, this booth is like particularly small. And so especially with voice work, I think that a lot of voice actors can get into their head, or like if you use headphones, you really start listening to the sound of your voice. And so it's very like mental, that we forget that we have a body and these characters still need a body, and the body really helps propel a performance. And so yeah, it's always appreciated when a director reminds me to use my body in my performance. Like, I mean, as much as you can. You obviously can't pick up too much, and that's why you wear like really quiet clothes. But yeah, like throwing a punch, having that movement is really helpful, or else it just doesn't sound realistic. So yeah, I guess short answer to that question. It's intimate, but you gotta remember that this is like the job to do is to bring this character to life. So making sure that you embody this character fully.
Yeah, that makes sense. Follow-up question, how do you prepare to be in the booth? You mentioned clothing. As
Yes.
a sound engineer, I appreciate you so much for wearing quiet clothing because I tend to be the one that
Hmm.
if you get the take, but it has like the squeak of a chair or
Yeah.
something in it, like I'm the one that goes in that has to take that out, and it's hard when the sounds are overlapping. Um, but yeah, how do you prepare to get in the booth? And I guess, again, you mentioned clothing. We briefly spoke about like, having your beverage with you, not having dairy products
Hmm.
beforehand.
Yeah.
What comes to mind? But even mentally, because you have to prepare to step into someone else's shoes. It's a
Yeah, the
lot.
mental part is it's so much. Yeah, so I mean I always have like my clothes prepped and ready. I have specific clothes that I know are quiet. Um and I really like to move my body before getting into the booth. I like to do some either stretches or yoga or go on a walk. Because I get a lot of performance anxiety still, and so being able to warm up the body and to ground myself, I do a lot of deep breaths to help bring down like the adrenaline and the heart rate and prepare my mind to go in. Um, yeah, beverages, making sure all of the like double checking equipment like at least 40 minutes beforehand, making sure everything is all right. Um, yeah, let's see, what else? I said warm up, clothes, equipment. Yep, hydrating. I mean, I'm hydrating constantly because I could be called into the booth at any time um, to do that. Have the script ready to go if I get it. Sometimes I don't even get the script until I'm in the session and we are just like going in, and it's the first time I'm seeing it at all. Um,
That is a whole
yeah.
other level of challenge.
It is, and that's like a thing that actors really, I mean, especially voice actors, right? They have to be prepared for because there's so many NDAs, um, that's why they do it. They don't give the script until you're in the booth. So having skills like improv, but especially your cold reading skills, is super important. So
And
and that goes in preparation is like preparing for like your skills in order to show up professionally.
yeah, you're leading so nicely into my next question, which is how do you continuously work on your craft? Because like
Yeah.
it's not, as we're talking about, it's not just reading a script and performing and then a director saying, hey, actually, could you say it this way? There's a physicality to it. There's thinking about equipment, there's thinking about clothing, there's thinking about the character, there's continuous work and practice on not only your craft but also on your own well-being so that you can show up and
Hmm.
perform. So yeah, how do you continuously work on your craft?
Yeah, I guess the thing about, I mean, creative, anyone. I feel like this is any field, but yeah, there's always something new to work on. And so like you are spoiled for choice. So I am constantly, whenever I can, I'm taking classes. Especially in my early career, like classes were the focus and really taking like acting specific classes as well as voiceover classes, which like the difference between that is like basic acting, knowing how to act, and voiceover would be like how do you act in video games or something like that. um and but later in my career I've been getting a lot of more one-on-one coaching, so very more specific training. um yeah, continuously working on the craft. I mean, I was just had this idea. I'm trying to do this month by month and set monthly goals. So it's like, could I try learning like a new accent every month, even if I'm not like proficient in it, like at least start that process of learning, and doing that with other skills too, like learning and trying new voices and just separating time to practice. So making new voices, or if I'm doing cold reading, maybe I'll set up a call with a friend and we'll have a book and we'll cold read that together. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
It sounds like you definitely have a lot of choice where it's like, I
Mm,
could learn this, I
too
could learn this, I could learn
much.
this. I was gonna
I
say
wish there
on
was an
on
end. I wish I could feel like I'm ready for anything, but no. I mean, that isn't also like being an actor is just being ready and adaptive and available. You just gotta, a lot of times you just gotta fake it till you make it. Um, yeah.
I read, this was forever ago, so I could not source what article this came from, but I read ages ago that an important part of acting is also just leaning into your humanity and like living life.
Mm-hmm.
Curious about your take on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember the Meisner quote. It's acting is something something living truthful circumstances. That's a terrible quotation that I just tried.
10 out of
Um,
10. I think that's perfect.
yeah, yeah,
Put it in an Excel
yeah.
spreadsheet, send it to me.
Yeah, right, right. Something, something, something. Um, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that is something that I always encourage people to do is for other actors, when they're like, what helps you? It's just go and live your life as well. Like, it's so easy to get caught up in the constant grind and just constantly leveling up your career, like being classes and doing new gigs and auditions. But something that people often overlook is just living your life, gaining life experience, because it's going to inform your acting. Go out there, feel emotions, go get angry, go be sad, feel that, because, yeah, you are a better human and actor for it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Do you want to talk about equipment at all?
Mm.
What equipment you use? Because I feel like for folks maybe who are just starting out, probably have questions about that.
Yeah.
What I will say about equipment as an audio engineer is it's always best to use what you've got, and you do not need the $2,000 microphone. I promise you, as someone who edits voice lines, you don't need it. And I'll give you an example on the music side. Ocean Eyes by Billie Eilish was recorded
Oh,
on an
that song.
Audio-Technica 2020, which is about a $200 microphone. It is not an expensive microphone. It is, it was recorded in a good room.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can you
yeah.
could have a really expensive microphone and the room could absolutely ruin the recording, but the microphone itself is not a $2,000 microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, curious if you want to chat about equipment because your mic sounds fantastic. I know that it's an Audio Technica. It's a great mic. I love my headphones are Audio Technica.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored, by the way, but Audio Technica. If
No.
you look, call me.
Hey.
Call us both.
Yeah, I would love to talk about equipment. I absolutely agree. I think that is such a big. There are so many hurdles into diving into a big decision like getting into acting, and I think people they're like, I need the best equipment. You don't. I am using the same equipment I got in 2021, the end of 2021, and it has served me. I've done all of my work on it, so it has served me well, and I'm still using it. I will upgrade one day, but for now, I don't need to. Um, so yeah, like I have my Audio Technica stuff. I have my Scarlett Focusrite solo interface. I use Audacity as my DAW, my digital audio workspace. I think is what it stands for, and that's free. Like don't talk yourself out of getting started just because you think you need the best of the best. But yeah, these are foam panels that I ordered offline, like a moving blanket. So yeah, it's not, I'm on my laptop, using what I got.
Yeah. I think that's perfect. Going back to watching behind the scenes videos, if you watch behind the scenes videos of Kelly Clarkson recording, I want to say Behind These Hazel Eyes, I bring this up. This is not like random trivia that I know. I bring
Yeah.
this up because it showed up on my TikTok feed yesterday. Is they had the exact same blanket that you have behind you in that recording.
Yeah.
And it
I was
looked
like,
like
watch.
I don't know what kind of studio it was, but it was exactly those blankets. So yeah, I like what you said about like use what you've got where you're at. And I will echo that as well for anyone wanting to get into sound or anyone wanting to get into music. Use what you've got and learn and upgrade as you can because
Yeah.
the opportunity cost of you not starting now is, a day, a week, a month, a year, multiple years.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And yeah, and you're not allowing yourself to practice things. Like for me, my acting improved the most in the first like 3 to 6 months of my career. And I wasn't good at all. And so just getting in front of the mic and doing the thing actively all the time, like you're just going to skyrocket in your skill. So just going forth and doing it is important.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention like the way I found that I should buy this stuff was I went to D. Bradley Baker's website, which is iwannabeavoiceactor.com, I think is what it's called. And yeah, he has all the specs, like booth specs of what you can build and different levels of equipment you can get. This is the cheapest option that he said he recommended. Yeah, so if any actors are in the chat and wondering, iwannabeavoiceactor.com, it's a good resource. So go check it out.
Kira Buckland also runs, who's the voice
Oh
of
yeah.
2V in hit video game Nier Automata. I have to, if I don't bring up Nier Automata at least once a day, I will cry.
Mm-hmm.
I love that game.
Mm-hmm.
And Kira is incredible. Also runs, I want to say it's
Voice
the
Acting
Voice
Club.
Acting Club. Thank you. I was going to Google
Mm-hmm.
it. Not Google it. I don't use Google anymore. I use DuckDuckGo.
Oh,
I was going
yep.
to DuckDuckGo it. That sounds weird. I was going to search
Amen.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, but runs, the Voice Acting Club. Love Kira. Love Kira's performances.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that she runs that.
Yeah. So, I mean, for any devs out there, indie devs, whatever, and actors, like check out Voice Acting Club. Definitely look it up because they have I guess they took the forum down because they mostly rely on their Discord, but they have an indie rate guide that recommends what rates you should charge for indie projects. But their Discord is where I find a lot of my auditions, and so whether you're a dev who wants to open up a casting call, that's a great resource to find a very large pool of actors or
really
actors
cool.
if you want to find casting calls. Go there.
Yeah. That's awesome. Going back to what you said about you saw your progress and your own personal development or professional development. You saw the greatest growth in the first 6 months. I just wanted to say a couple things to that.
Yeah.
I think it's so important for us, all of us, to allow ourselves to be beginners and to not know things and to try things and to anticipate failure. Like I just anticipate failure everywhere. I'm like, yep, okay, failure's gonna happen.
Yep.
It's gonna happen, regardless of whether I want it to or not. It's gonna happen. And I think one of the most important muscles that I work on all the time is just getting better at failing. But the second one is that ready is not a feeling, ready is a decision. And I had a really long conversation with a couple friends at the beginning of the year about that, and I can't stop thinking about it. Ready is not a feeling, ready is a decision. We decide that we are ready and we go do the thing, and then we get the experience that makes us feel ready for the next thing. Like I think those two things are really important.
Absolutely, 100% on that. Yeah, I agree. Getting also comfortable with being uncomfortable. I didn't start, so my audition was in 2021 for that first project, but I didn't really do anything. I didn't do any more auditions until 2022 is really when I started actually pursuing voiceover professionally. So it's been about 4 years now, and this week I'm still having experiences where I'm freaking out, I'm anxious, I'm fearful, but I just have to do it. I have to push forward. I have to push past the fear because, yeah, I mean, you're just going to come across these uncomfortable scenarios and you can do it. You just have to trust yourself that you'll figure it out.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know if any musicians are here or are watching. On occasion, like a couple times a year, I'm like, am I going to be able to write music ever again? Like, it's just, I feel like this is such a universal composer feeling of maybe the years that I've been doing it, that was all a fluke. What if I can never write music ever again? And it's then you have to remind yourself all the training and the music theory and the production work and the engineering work and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's funny because it creeps in sometimes and it's what if my best work is behind me? And a part of that fear drives me though, where I'm no, I don't want to listen to that voice. And also it doesn't matter. What is best? It's so subjective, especially with music. Music is so subjective.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I love this.
I actually have, I struggle with perfectionism so badly. And so I have a lot of imposter syndrome I struggle with and performance anxiety and getting things just right and perfect. But I actually had to write in my booth, there is no perfect, there is only the character and there is no perfect take, there's only what you bring to it. And for anyone who's, wanting to be an actor and, struggles with the fear of especially in like live directed sessions, it can be scary and like feel like a lot of pressure. That's where your skills come in. Like you can be scared, but having those skills, those foundational skills to fall back on when you feel like you're just not ready, that's what's going to really support you. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. It's funny that you have that written in your booth because for a couple of years I had to have done is better than perfect on my wall.
Yeah.
Like I think it was like a
Ugh.
cork board and I printed it out and I like put it on the cork board and I was like, done is better than perfect. Just
Mm-hmm.
nothing is ever going to be perfect. Perfect does not exist. Done is better than perfect.
Ridiculous. I can't believe it.
If you were to tell like 13-year-old me that, she would be like, you're wrong, actually.
Yeah. I could do perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist. And sacrificing our health and our time and you know, et cetera, to achieve something that doesn't exist, I don't think makes sense.
Right.
So
And we're in creative careers that are meant to be fun. Like I when I get caught up in all those thoughts, like I really have to stop and remind myself, girl, you got into this to have fun. Why are you not having fun? You're making yourself miserable. Just like do the thing.
yeah,
Have fun.
yeah, do the thing. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that leads us really nicely into my last question. Obviously, if there are
Mm.
other things that you want to talk about, we can, because I love this little path that
Let's
we're
go back
on.
to my life story.
Happily, if you want, Um, but I think that leads us nicely into, and I love asking this question because of the insights that come out of it. What advice would you give your younger self? And you can pick the age. It could be very
Oh,
young you. It might be teenage you. It might be you from a few years ago. What advice would you give yourself?
yeah. Oh man, this is such a tough question. What advice do I not give? I think the thing for me and my younger self is make your own path. Because I come from a family of all brothers, and they are stellar brothers, high achieving, really charismatic, really awesome, really kind people, and just really successful. And so they're both doctors. So I, followed that path in pre-med, and I was like, I'm gonna do what they do. Um, but ever since I was a kid, I've been a creative, and I should have listened to that voice. But yeah, having the strength to make your own path is gonna be benefit you in the long run. You're gonna be so much happier. And life, as cheesy and corny as it is, you do only live once. Um, so do what you want to do. Make your own path. My mom would also say, listen to your mother, because my mother apparently knew. She was like, I don't know why you went into pre-med. I wanted you to go off to film school in California. I wanted you to be an actor this whole time. I was like, sorry, mom, But so yeah, make your own path and listen to your mother.
That's really interesting because I thought you were going to say that she said no, like you need to do pre-med,
No,
go do
no,
pre-med.
no. Literally, I am the strangest Asian kid because I'm only half Asian, so my mom's the Korean one. But the pressure for all of us to be pre-med, or for me, the pressure to be pre-med for me did not come from my parents. It came from my own stupid brain. I just convinced myself like, I need to achieve just as much as my brothers do. Yeah, listen to mom.
But what does even, achieve as much as someone else mean? Like I don't know, not to get like too deep and philosophical, but I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that like for me, I'm in competition with myself. Like I'm in competition with me
Mm-hmm.
from last week. And if I can
Mm-hmm.
do one thing a little bit better than me from last week, I'm winning.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know about you, but I have no regrets. Like if anyone was like, well, what's one big regret that you have? I don't really have any regrets. And I've told this story before, but I had a mentor in university who gave me this advice that I just have never forgotten. And he said, where you are in the present moment, you have your current experiences, wisdom, the people around you in this present moment. And every time you're making a decision with the years that you have behind you. What
Mm-hmm.
you can't do is take your arm and reach it out, take your hand, reach it out into the future and pull future experience towards you. It is physically impossible to do that. And so give yourself grace when you make a decision that you then, maybe come back from and don't fully follow that path, because we're constantly making decisions based off of the wisdom, the experiences, the skills that we have in this present moment. So
Exactly. I agree. Yeah. And like, that's the thing. I know my mom is always like, you should have just done, your creative stuff. But yeah, like I never regretted doing medicine. It was not a great fit for me, even in school. But that is all experience that I gained. And like I said about acting earlier, it's bringing your life experiences into acting, and to being a human is going to, benefit you. And yeah, all that wisdom that you gain.
I love it. Keeping an eye on time. I want to make sure that we have time for Q&A. I also know you are in a much later time zone than me.
It's bedtime. Just kidding. I don't know what time it is.
Is there anything else that you wanted to chat about that we didn't chat about? I love that Leon Kennedy mug so much.
Let's talk about Leon Kennedy.
Happily. What game are we talking? Are we talking RE2, RE4, RE6 that people always forget? RE9? Fun fact, Leon's license plate in Resident Evil 9 is 2469, which are the games that he has been in. Like what a cool little little Easter egg.
They put so much love into RE9.
Yeah,
I love that.
Really
such a good game. To the folks out there, I cannot do horror, so I watched all my friends play the game, and even then, that was stressful. But yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. All right. Well, we will wrap it up on that Leon Kennedy note and open it up for Q&A. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. If you're watching the recording, thank you so much for watching. As always, our socials will be in the description if you'd like to follow us on social media. And if you have any feedback or topics that you'd like to see covered in the future, let us know. Thank you so much. Let's open it up for Q&A.
Let's go.